looking at some pretty big savings for the Oklahoma taxpayer, some money that we can return to the federal government, some money that, hopefully will turn into a tax cut down the road.
Tonight's big story breakdown is government spending on a local and national level.
Here in Oklahoma, today was the deadline for KOKH to submit a report to the governor, House Speaker, and Senate Pro Tem outlining what was found while reviewing agency budgets. This effort started earlier this year when Governor Kevin Stitt issued an executive order creating the Division of Government Efficiency. The new division was also tasked with identifying and recommending ways to eliminate wasteful government spending to ensure your taxpayer dollars are being used effectively. Right now, we're still waiting to see the findings outlined in that KOKH report.
Taking a look at the KOKH website, we can see some of the efforts state agencies are making to help cut costs. Some of the new postings under the project efficiency section include one from the commissioners of the Land Office Information Technology Division. It states the agency reviewed a number of contracts and was able to save money by switching vendors and negotiating prices. The Department of Corrections determined 3 international consulting contracts and also challenged a bill of service worth more than $15,000. OKDHS updated its invoice tracker to reduce the processing time from 45 days from receipt to 23. We can also see projects that are in progress. For example, the Oklahoma Real Estate Commission working to implement new technology, including a chatbot and a new mobile app to save time and money. State officials say all of these changes are projected to save Oklahoma nearly $9 million. Grass cutting services for the state capitol grounds also on the list of projects getting the DOGE treatment.
Officials say robot lawnmowers are not only cutting grass, but also cutting costs. Fox 25's Tom Ferguson joins us live from the Capitol now. So, Tom, are these auto mows really more efficient?
If you stop by the Oklahoma State Capitol, you may see small orange and gray auto mows zipping around.
We're doging landscaping here at the Capitol.
That's right. OMES has purchased a couple of lawnmowers that are self-driving. This will save us quite a bit of money every year.
Officials say they've bought 7 of these to cover the acre or so of grass, all for less than $25,000. Yearly contracts to mow the lawn here ran anywhere from $350,000 to $600,000, according to the Office of Management and Enterprise Services.
You will see some people using remote controls to map the trees, so it's important, just like your Roomba maybe at home, it's got to learn the grounds before it knows how to operate best. So there is some of that, but mostly it's people walking up and trying to interact with them because we don't see them every day.
Modeled after the Department of Government Efficiency in Washington, the governor's office says this is part of a larger DOGE Oklahoma initiative to cut unnecessary spending while upholding core services.
The governor's hyper-focused on making sure that Oklahoma is working as efficiently and effectively as possible for the Oklahoma taxpayers.
Officials say these cutting-edge mowers have multiple safety features that ensure the blades stop and alarms go off when they're picked up, along with GPS tracking to help deter theft.
Not only do these things mow on command and they go back and they charge when they need to, but we don't have to use herbicides or pesticides on the grounds anymore, and it actually stops weeds from seeding.
Sorry for some of those technical issues there. OMES says they'll be seeing how these work out here. In the future, officials say they could be bringing auto mows to more state facilities. Live at the Capitol, Tom Ferguson, Fox 25 News.
Thank you, Tom. Governor Kevin Stitt supporting cutting costs of every level of government, appearing on Newsmax last month to discuss the U.S. Department of Government Efficiency's push on a national scale.
The only people that are critical of this are people that are on the take, government bureaucrats, and we love it in Oklahoma. I think most of Americans are applauding it.
The national DOGE efforts will have an impact on local organizations right here in Oklahoma.
In the coming months, the YWCA says it'll be losing $6.5 million in federal funding. Fox 25's Lauren Henry explains the impact from these cuts.
Refugees and immigrants in Tulsa contribute to our economy and enrich our community, and losing this funding puts their future and our shared future at risk.
Julie Davis, the CEO of the YWCA Tulsa, tells us that annually the nonprofit organization receives close to $11 million in funding from the federal government. But come September, that funding will be cut by more than half.
All of our services that we provide for immigrants and refugees are going to be those that are most heavily cut.
Davis says the services she's talking about assisted 4,000 individuals last year alone.
With this loss, individuals will lose access to those legal services, those English language classes, that case management support, the support in helping make sure they can find employment and really make sure they're on the path to financial self-sufficiency.
The cuts are only 6 months away, and Davis explains that the YWCA is actively working to keep refugee and immigration services operational.
So we have a plan to protect as many services as possible, and with people in the community, with their help, we are going to continue as many of those services as possible.
Lauren Henry, Fox 25 News.
We're seeing a large number of agency offices in Oklahoma being listed on the National DOJ website right now. The estimated savings is $140 billion. The most current office being listed under leases is the Geological Survey in Oklahoma City. According to the website, would save more than $1.2 million in savings. Another is the Bureau of Indian Affairs in Seminole, where it would save more than $180,000 in the International Trade Administration in Oklahoma City, which would save approximately $95,000.
Earlier this month, the Oklahoma City Federal Building was listed on the GSA's website as a non-core property, which sparked fears that it would be up for sale. Although that listing has since been removed, the building's future remains uncertain. The building, situated in downtown, replaced the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building, which was destroyed in the Oklahoma City bombing in 1995. The architect of the new building says it symbolizes the resilience of Oklahoma City.
I'd like those things to be part of the consideration. The role is played in both the city and the national identity.
A spokesperson from GSA released a statement saying just because an asset is on the list, it doesn't mean it's for sale, and said the list will be republished in the near future. President Trump created DOJ in an effort to go after waste, fraud, and abuse in the government. But despite hundreds of millions of dollars reportedly cut, there's been little action at the agency that spends the most, the Pentagon.
Fox 25 national reporter Christine Frizzell brings us a closer look.
Coming to a government agency near you, massive cuts thanks to the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOJ.
Our country was riddled with fat, like no country probably anywhere in the world, and we're getting rid of the fat.
While thousands of workers have now been fired and entire agencies dismantled, the wall of receipts on DOJ's website shows of the estimated $140 billion it says it saved, the top 10 agencies for cuts do not include the one that spends the most money, the Department of Defense.
Part of it is it's sort of this sacred cow that is protected. There are a lot of members of Congress who have special projects that are in their congressional district.
That includes the F-35 fighter jet, which has a $2 trillion price tag, despite being used less and less by the military. Far more, the number of those serving at the top.
The reality is today we have basically 10% of the fighting men and women that we had in World War II, but we actually have more four-star generals and admirals now than we did during the Second World War.
So far, the government agencies with the largest cuts have had some of the smallest budgets, despite the vast majority of this country's fiscal obligations being with the Department of Defense, which recently failed its 7th audit in a row. That's not to say no cuts have been made at the DoD. On Friday, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth signed a memo to reduce the size of the 900,000-plus person workforce, though the details have yet to be released.
We're initiating the Workforce Acceleration and Recapitalization Initiative. It's an important new opportunity to right-size DoD.
Finding the right size of the largest government agency proving to be a major task. I'm Christine Frizzell reporting.
The U.S. Postal Service agreeing to work with DOJ to help reform itself and save costs across the board. Earlier this month, the U.S. Postmaster General sent a letter to Congress highlighting why he's asking DOJ to step in. The announcement received some pushback as many postal workers organized hundreds of rallies across the country to defend the public service against privatization and political interference.
We're thinking privatization is going to be going to affect the public in a really negative way. And a price also, price gouge, because everybody pays the same for a first-class mail letter. And we believe that if they privatize, that they're going to be charging more for delivery to homes that are out in the outskirts.
Through the years, the company has faced some financial losses and a decline in mail volume as private companies like FedEx and UPS are out competing the service.
And that was your big story breakdown tonight. You can learn more about recent government spending in Oklahoma on OKCFox.com.
Plus, find all of our previous big story breakdowns on our YouTube page. Scan the QR code on your screen or search OKC Fox.